Okay, I want to show you how to make your own leader style, and the only difference between the style that is being used to begin with and the style you're going to create is just going to be the scale factor basically of the arrowhead. So what we're going to do is go to the annotation drop down area, and the third one down is what controls your style that you're using when you're placing a leader. If I pull this down, you'll see that there's really nothing there except for the standard style. If we go right here, we can pick the multi-leader style command and we can create our own style. And I'm going to go over here and pick the new button, and I'm going to start with standard. Okay. Excuse me, I'm going to start with standard. It always comes in with copy of standard. But if we just change this to big, just you can call it anything you want, doesn't matter to me, and I'll say continue, and up comes the box here, and what you can do is change the arrowhead size, but maybe a better idea, let me check something out here. Yeah, maybe the scale would be what we want to change. Let's specify the scale. Let's make this 2. And now everything will just be twice as big, including any text that you add with this. So I'm going to say OK. And now I've got a style called big. Let's make another new one called bigger. Okay, and it's starting with big. That's fine, doesn't matter. It just means all the settings for big is going to come in to begin with. And we're going to change this one to 4 just to make it quite a bit bigger. And then finally we'll make one more new one called biggest, and we'll continue, and we'll change this one's scale factor to 8, and I'll say OK, and I'll close. And now when you make a new style, that becomes the current. So I'm going to pull this down and say I want my big style to be current, and I'll just draw a leader, and I'll just draw one out here, and now you can see that the arrowhead is twice as big. I'm just going to click and get out of here. You know how to get rid of that from the previous video. If I go up here and make a different style current, like the bigger one, and use my leader command, you can see that it's even bigger. Okay, the text is going to be bigger also because we changed the scale, so the scale of everything changes. And then finally I'm going to make the biggest style current and draw another leader, and you can see that now I've got, notice that I don't get an arrowhead until I get a certain length. For the arrowhead to show up, it's got to be basically, the leader itself has to be basically twice as big as the leader, or the arrowhead. And I'll just click to be done with that. So there's a different way to make that. Now if that doesn't work for you, you could also make a leader style that just has a bigger arrowhead than what you're using. I'll go into here and make a new one. I'll make a new one, but I'll start with standard, and I'll just say call this one big arrow. Okay, and continue, and I'm going to leave the scale factor set to 1, but if I go back to leader format, here's where I can change the size of the arrowhead from 3/16 to I'm going to highlight that whole works, and let's say I want it to be a ½ inch. So I'll type in 0.5 and say OK, and close this up. And now when I draw a leader, remember that bigger arrowhead size became the same. So now this one's showing up with an arrowhead somewhere in between these two, but this has got bigger text associated with it. This has got the same height text associated with this one, just a bigger arrow. So you can play around with that to try to get things the way you want it to be. Also, once you've placed the leader, let's say you go, This could be standard. I don't need this bigger arrowhead. I'll just go this standard. Because I have quick properties on, I can change the multi-leader style very easily to just back to standard. Okay. Same thing here. Oh, this is way too big. I need this to be the same size as that. So I'll pick this and change that to the bigger style rather than the biggest style. So that's a little bit of information on multi-leader styles.